This again. Hi, I'm Langham, and these are my common and comet-bodied goldfish. You'll sometimes hear these guys referred to as feeder fish or carnival fish. When they start out, they're tiny, 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 and people tell you you can keep them in a bowl, and then they get to be monster fish. They can get to be up to, oh my, my reflection's driving me crazy. I'm sorry, friends. But they can get up to be 20 inches long, so they're really not small fish when you take care of them right. And there's a ton of myths and misconceptions about goldfish, and I'm not going to address all of them right now. This is just kind of gonna be a introductory video because I'm noticing online that there's very little new information on goldfish. There's some great stuff from Solid Gold Aquatics and Aquastar, and you can find some great stuff from Joey, King of DIY, and I mean really any place does have some information on goldfish, but it's tricky because you have this one side of the goldfish community that will basically tell you you're abusing your fish if you have them in less than 75 gallons, and you have this other side that says, oh well, my fish lived 2 years in a bowl. And I'm gonna get into it where both of those are wrong and both of those are true. Right now, the biggest thing I want to stress to anybody considering getting a long-bodied goldfish is the minimum tank you want to start them on. If you're planning on growing them out, any kind of long-bodied goldfish, the commons, comets, shubunkins. There's some slightly more rare two-tailed long-bodied ones like Jenkins. I'm blanking on some of the other names because my dachshund is trying to get into the video as we speak. But anyway, these fish are beautiful, and they can be very easy to take care of. And they're a lot of fun to take care of because they are the fish in the industry that was the most bred to be pets. You see, they just see me and are like, hello. Not all of my fish do that. And they're really fascinating, amazing fish, but you really can't grow them out very well in a 10-gallon, 20-gallon. I did start growing these guys out in a 29-gallon long, these two. This one was a more recent surrender, but they really, that was a very temporary time period. It was not good for them. They need as much space as they possibly can. They need something that's at least kind of 2 foot by 3 foot, which is this 40 breeder here. And even that's a little small, but see, that way they at least have, no matter how big they get, they can circle around the tank. So you want to think about that. If you don't want to have to buy another tank, or if you think it's realistic that you could be in a position monetarily that you couldn't buy another tank, the minimum you can start if you want to give these guys a happy, healthy life is a 40-gallon breeder. And even a lot of people would recommend going up to 75. I think that depending on your water, your filtration, your water changes, your pH, your temperature, all those factors, what you're feeding, kind of makes up the difference as long as they have enough space to swim around. But anyway, these are my long-bodied goldfish. Standard goldfish, comets and commons. This one I renamed, it was a surrender, I renamed Phoenix because she was in a 10-gallon tank. And see how big she is? She was in a 10-gallon tank for 4 to 6 years. And it's amazingly, she's stunted, but her body's still amazing. So, Phoenix there. This is Mr. and Mrs. Goldfish, another rescue who I'm afraid may be stunted. Mr. Goldfish was his original name, but then I figured out Mr. Goldfish was a boy. She doesn't really mind, but now we just call her Mr. and Mrs. Goldfish. And that's Bernini. Bernini, while middle-sized, is kind of the leader of the pack. He's been around the longest, healthiest, biggest. Okay, well, these are my brief starting thoughts on goldfish care, long-bodied. I do want to note that I have a tank filter on there that is set up for a 90-gallon tank, and it is optimized. And I do have an additional filter in here, not only to prevent just a little extra filtration, but also to provide some surface agitation. And these guys are just so happy and look so stunning on this black sand.